Konosuba is easily one of the most recognizable animes and is even up there competing for the title of the best isekai anime. Everyone has without a doubt seen at least a reaction picture featuring one of the characters from the main cast of the show. Now, because of how popular the show is, I doubt I need to give a full introduction, but just in case, I'll give a brief summary of the plot and characters. Basically, there's a shut-in named Kazuma who dies, but meets a goddess named Aqua who gives him the choice to reincarnate into another world with the purpose of defeating the Devil King. And it's from here where what sets Konosuba apart from other stories just like it begin to become very clear. Typically, this is where the main character gets some super overpowered ability or weapon that allows him to breeze through any conflict and everyone thinks he's super cool and falls for him. But not this time. After Aqua begins making fun of Kazuma for the way he died, including him peeing his pants right before he died, out of spite, Kazuma chooses to bring Aqua along with him to the world rather than a special weapon or ability. Thus, without anything to make him overpowered, he has to start from the very beginning and build his skills and abilities up through his journey. Aside from Aqua being a part of his party, he's later joined by Megumin, who is totally normal and can be trusted with weapons. And soon after, Darkness, who... yeah. And so from then on, our cast of misfits come together to make their way towards defeating the Devil King, while also meeting a fun cast of characters along the way. But I have to be honest, when I first watched this show when it was coming out, I was an Aqua degenerate. I know, look, okay, I don't get it either, but that's just how it was. I liked Megumin, don't get me wrong, and apparently she was the sole reason for increased sales or keeping the series afloat. I don't know, I've never found a source for that, but for some reason, I just liked Aqua more. Now, upon further reflection and having time pass a little, I did come around and join the right side of history, the Megumin side. Explosions and all. Don't worry, this is important. Season 2 of the show finishing up in March of 2017, it will be over 2 years till we would finally get a continuation of the story in the form of a Konosuba movie in 2019.
I can feel your cock.
In the movie, we get to see Megumin's hometown and more of the people who live in it. And that's where we arrive to the main topic of today's video. That being after almost 4 years of no Konosuba anything, aside from a mobile game and Isekai Quartet, a spin-off of Konosuba focusing entirely on Megumin came out. As I write this, there are only 2 episodes currently out, but right off the bat, I can say that this is easily going to be one of the best animes of the year. Konosuba is a fantastic show. It's been a while since I rewatched it, but after the 2 episodes currently out for the spin-off, I forgot about that itching feeling of wanting to see more, something that this show fully delivers on. Even though the rest of the main cast isn't present, this show has been able to satisfy that desire to see more Konosuba while also being different. An issue I feel most spin-offs have or struggle with is their identity, especially when it's centered around a side character. Technically, you could argue Megumin isn't a side character, but putting that aside, the problem those shows have is that they more often rely on staying close to the source material. Now, that doesn't sound like a bad thing, but think about it like this. If you have a show that's a spin-off of another show, but the spin-off follows very closely in the footsteps of the original, but doesn't have the same elements that made the original so loved, why would you watch the spin-off if it's just a watered-down version of the original? While yes, it's important to stay close to the source material, the writers need to allow room for the spin-off to have its own identity separate from the original, or it'll be casted as just a worse version of it. Another issue is if the spin-off is based solely around a side character that acts more like comedic relief. Sometimes a well-loved character is only well-loved because they're not the main character. They work well off of the other established characters, but if you were to remove them from that setting, would they still work as a character? Probably not, or at the very least, probably not as well as they would if they were in that setting. And this easily could have been the case for Megumin. Megumin works well with the rest of the cast based on the absurdity of her actions and the reactions to them. Everything about her is, excuse my language, silly. From her name, to her ability, to her personality, it works well with the cast in different ways. Like Kazuma being the straight man to her eccentric personality, or pauses taken in scenes to really showcase her Chunibyo side. It all works so well because of the setting she's in. But if she were to be put in a different setting, would it still work? Especially since the spin-off is a prequel to Konosuba that shows Megumin's life before the events of the main series. And based on what we saw in the movie, everyone in the village acts like Megumin, so it has the potential for the same Chunibyo gag to get old really quickly. That's where the spin-off really shows its strength. It's able to keep all the characters consistent to how they are in the main series, but avoid repeating the same jokes or plots. A big part of what makes Megumin funny is the fish out of water trope, where she is so different compared to the other characters because of her Chunibyo personality, making different scenes funny. So if you put that fish back into the water, how are you going to be able to make it feel fresh without making it overdone or taking away certain characteristics? Well, Konosuba, an explosion on this beautiful world, plays it it completely straight. Maybe every so often pointing out the absurdity of things, like when the mage asked if Megumin's name was her real name. I made a shorts explaining why people think Megumin's name is weird if you want to check that out. Or Yun Yun finding all the shouting and self-introductions embarrassing. But other than that, what would be played as a joke in the main series about how weird Megumin or the other villagers are isn't played as a joke very often in the show, allowing scenes to play out and be funny for other reasons without having to stop whatever's going on to look at the audience and say, "Ha, isn't that funny? He said something weird." A joke that comes to mind is when Megumin tries to convince the teacher to let her sit out of PE or keep Shimosuke. Rather than the joke being the ridiculous explanation of why she needs to sit out, the joke is instead how the teacher doesn't care why, as long as it sounds cool. The comedy really comes from it being shameless in this aspect and not trying to be funny, just playing it straight as if it's completely normal, because to the characters, it is completely normal. Moving on, aside from how the show is structured and handles its characters, everything else is just top tier. The animation is as beautiful as always, and the music really goes hard for no reason. I mean, just listen to the music used in the opening scene for the first episode. The opening is also good, but the ending is an absolute banger. From the really cool animation style to the vocals, I honestly love everything about the ending, and it's sung by the voice actors for Megumin and Yun Yun, Rie Takahashi and Akito Yosaki, which, speaking of, Konosuba already had some of the best voice acting, with voice actors who cared about the characters and really played into their roles. Kazuma's voice actor Jun Fukushima comes to mind as he started ad-libbing things like "Kazuma desu" when characters would say his name. In this case, the show has allowed for Rie Takahashi to take the spotlight and demonstrate some absolutely hilarious screams through her line delivery, and overall really bring the character to life. Through her performance, you can feel the love and passion she has for the character, something that really adds to the more touching moments of the show. I know there's only 2 episodes out so far, but those 2 episodes have been some of the most enjoyable episodes of anime I've watched in a long time. If you're already a fan of Konosuba, then you'll love the show. It's able to provide that same experience while also giving you something entirely new. But even if you've never seen Konosuba before, I would still recommend checking out An Explosion on This Beautiful World, as it genuinely is just an amazing anime that's able to stand on its own without having to rely on the main series to prop it up. Regardless, I've talked for far too long about Megumin without bringing up just one tiny little thing about her character that makes her so beloved by fans. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, then please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. Big news, I opened up a Patreon if you want to help support me and my content. I know this seems out of the blue, but this announcement was meant to be made on a really big video that has taken me 2 months to make, but I've had some issues with it regarding copyright, so that's why you're seeing this video first. Anyways, there are some really cool perks, and if you want to further support me, that's probably the best way to do it. But regardless, I appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. It means a lot. Also, check out my Twitter to keep up with whatever I got going on, and also I live stream both on this channel and my Twitch channel pretty frequently, so if you see me live, hop in chat, say hi, I would love to have you. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Konosuba is a really fun series through and through. There's not much I can say other than it's just amazing and a lot of fun to watch. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you haven't already, watch the anime, read the manga. I'll see you in the next one.